for many universities, and there's lots of mums up and down the country who know this only too well, it's Freshers' Week. So the kids have headed off to university. Freshers' Week is in full swing. Thousands of 18-year-olds are enjoying their newfound freedom away from home. Very exciting time, but it's very daunting too, especially when we hear reports of a rise in sexual violence at universities. Now, it may come as no surprise then that new products have been designed to tackle the issue of consent. What do we think about this, Stacey? Do you think this is a good idea, or is it making money out of something that's potentially unpleasant?
Yeah, when we were talking about this earlier, I just feel like people are capitalising on awful things happening to other people. And I just think to myself, if we want to look into the issue of consent, surely it needs to start in education in really at a very early age, rather than... the condoms and the apps, they all to me seem like a gimmick, and it's almost as if, I'm not being funny, if I wanted to rip open a condom box, I wouldn't need the other pair of hands. Do you know, like, it can't be real. These things can't be real. It's just money-making on something that could potentially be really horrific and ruin somebody's life. I was saying to you guys earlier that I've got a real thing about the kids. If I'm tickling them, and I used to just carry on tickling them, even when they were like, no, stop, stop. And I've really had to think to myself about what that means to them. And when they're saying no and stop, I feel like, actually, there's got to be a line and there's got to be a boundary somewhere, because they need to learn at that really
from that age,
that no means no, and that it doesn't, it's not just a joke, and it's not, you know.
But unfortunately, there are people who don't listen to the word no. So for me, I'm all for what you're saying, and I've had that conversation with Tanisha and Jamal to, you know, show them how the right way about going about it is, and understanding no means no. But I do quite think that the idea of the bracelet, where, you know, if there's somebody that's coming to attack you, it's like the whistle and everything, that there's something in your shorts that there's a whistle that goes off if someone comes to attack you. I do quite like that idea with regards to,
but that's, you know, looking on every
sexual
encounter as something that might potentially go wrong. I mean, what it seems to imply that if you go out for a night out and you might meet someone, you've already got to have an armour of things at your disposal, because you basically don't trust the opposite sex.
But it also leaves you feeling like, if I don't bring out a wristband that smells and something happens to me, am I responsible then? If I don't, you know, put all these implications in place, does the onus then fall on me? And I think that's quite a difficult...
Yes, and the consent act I do find really troubling, because if someone got... if you'd had a few drinks, and if you did go back to your flat or someone else's flat, and they did get their phone out and say, all right, do the consent thing now, you might do it. And then what happens if in the next 10 minutes you change your mind? That person has got something on their phone in writing, that they might take to the police if, God forbid, it ever got to court, and you've done something where you've weakened your position, actually, by agreeing to that. I can't see it beneficial in any way. And the other thing I'd say is, just commenting on Freshers' Week, it says that undercover police, newspapers have been saying that undercover police are going to patrol pubs and clubs in Newcastle, for example, this week, to try and stop alcohol being sold to people who are already drunk. And I think that's another issue. All right, it's turning things back on publicans and bar owners, but, you know, the buck's got to stop somewhere, and I would like to see discounted drinks and happy hours end. I really would.
Yeah, but also, again, education, like... If from a really young age you're taught how to drink responsibly, and I know that you're not always going to. I was a teenager, you know, I had too many drinks at times when I really shouldn't have, but I've never, ever got out of control because I've always had in the back of my mind what I was told would happen if I didn't know what was going on around me, or, you know, just the fear of not being able to protect myself if I needed to. And I guess trying to get that education in early with all of...
And with boys and girls, that it doesn't matter how much you've had to drink, no means no, regardless. But it also means it on the flip side, because we are almost automatically talking about this from a female perspective, but it can also happen the other way as well, where men can feel under pressure, or boys can feel under pressure.
Men as well.
Absolutely. And also that unfortunately, boys, I feel now, are in a very vulnerable position in that they can think they've read the signals right, they can think they've done all the right things, and then the next day find out actually what happened wasn't what they think has happened. And then exactly like you say, if there's an app that's been signed,
It's a
the whole thing is
minefield.
it is a minefield. And I worry for kids nowadays because it seems so much more complicated now. Because exactly like you said, Stacey, if I haven't had that bracelet, or does that mean that I haven't looked after myself? When actually it comes down to two consenting adults making an adult decision. That's from a mum's point of view.